Welcome back to Captain of Industry Update 3, where we get access to a lot of new things, including train. We built an advanced train station for food over here in the last episode, so that has been working really well. We have also access to the space station, currently space station tier 2 with crew supply, maintenance, with station part basics. We're gonna want to move to station part tier 3, but that's going to require those gold station parts as well as electronic tier 4. This is completely new type of electronics, which will take electronics tier 3, but will also take lenses and diamonds, two completely new things. So we're gonna talk about this in this episode, right? The goal is to do this. But before, let me show you one of the big problems I've been having, is that we are still using over here our old, furnaces. I did start to build some new ones there, but for now I'm still on the old ones. And in particular for the iron ore, it's taking forever to get enough resources. Like right now it's not empty, but that's also because I haven't been building anything recently. As soon as I start building things and therefore using a lot of steel, this thing goes to zero very quickly. And even with 10 whole truck dumped, right, there is 10 that are assigned to this. They basically, the whole job is just to go over there, take some iron ore and bring it back here. Even with those 10, it's never enough. So what can we do? Well, we can use a belt, right? We can also use trains. So let's see those two options. And let's also look a bit at our copper over here, where if you've been paying attention to the last few episodes, it was already belted actually. We can look over here, all right? We have this belt that comes from the sorter, right? Or sorting plants. So we have this belt. It's actually not really a long belt, right? It's pretty close, right? It is still taking almost 8.7. Like right now, it says only 1.7 is because it's not moving, right? This is full of copper. But as soon as it starts moving, it's basically 9 of maintenance. Take 9 of maintenance just for this small space. It's really not that big, right? It also takes almost 300 or more than 300 kilowatts, which is not nothing. And this is again just for a pretty small distance. If you compare to the iron mine, which is over here, and by the way, this is also where the next copper mine is, this is way further. So as you can imagine, we're gonna test the train too. And by the way, if we compare also to my trucks, it's not just that I had to put 10 trucks there. Each of those trucks is taking maintenance tier 2, and it's taking, as soon as it's moving. So let's find one. Yeah, this one is moving, right? It's bringing some. We're talking about 3.2 of this maintenance tier 2. So this is pretty huge, right? It doesn't take electricity, but it takes quite a bit of maintenance, and it also takes diesel. So that's also polluting, by the way. So let's try to change that with trains, which is why I've built over here a small train station. It's not very advanced, as soon as I want more than one train for iron and more than one train for the copper, I'm gonna need to put some extensions over here. But for now, it's a start. And if we look at this train here, first of all, this is only using maintenance tier 1, not maintenance tier 2. And it's taking definitely some maintenance, but again, this is, let's say 10 at the maximum. It's never going to 10, but let's say 10 at the maximum. This is 10 for one train from here all the way there, versus this was already 10 of maintenance for just this small space. So I can guarantee you that a belt all the way from here is gonna be more than 10. And this is also, a lot more than the trucks, right? Remember, this was 3 for just one truck. This is the equivalent of many trucks. This is also faster, by the way, right? It will very quickly reach 90 kilometers. These guys, they don't drive at 90 kilometers, I guarantee you. Especially with all of the kind of path finding. So yeah, we're bringing, the resources over here. You can, remember, have as many of these wagons as possible, as long as there's space to charge them. All right, and so let's follow that guy. It just arrived actually. So So it's full right now, so it didn't really charge anything. It will also not pollute because I'm using hydrogen as fuel. Yes, it means I do need to make some hydrogen, but by the way, this is also going to consume definitely less than my trucks for the same kind of trip. Now here it's not going very fast because I'm doing a lot of mining and digging, when in the future we can make it cleaner. But it is already, you know, at 60 something kilometers. This is faster than these guys. You can see it's moving way faster. And yeah, we're already back on the main road. So I also didn't need to create a new train line. We already had it. I created over here this small station with the water that is underground, creating some hydrogen. That way, every time, you know, they can get a bit of hydrogen. You can be a bit smarter and say, oh no, you don't come all the time. But anyway, that's not even a small stop. They barely stop. And then we're gonna arrive over here where I've put both of these. I've put both of these here because the copper is there. The iron is actually pretty far. It's still all the way there. So we will need something else. But I've done it this way because, you know, again, the first one was already here and this is not final, you know. Later, we just need to send it over here, which will be a lot easier. But for now, we are bringing it there. And then, yeah, we're going to have a belt to be able to go all the way there, right? This is a way longer one. But with this, we should not need any trucks anymore. So let's put it on and see if that's gonna work fine. And then, you know, we can of course put, as always, the condition of only come when the modules are empty. There's no need to send it before. So it's coming. It's gonna take, of course, a second to come. But once that's done, we can make this one as cannot import anymore. I'm just gonna wait for all of the things to arrive. Or actually, I mean, I probably do have a couple of trucks that are already on the way. So you are going to come slowly but surely out of this job. I'm taking them out of the job. And yeah, the resources should arrive very shortly. Let's take you out too. Ooh, it's taking a while. It's taking a while. But this one will cost quite a bit of maintenance because it's a huge one. So yeah, I could have sent, you know, the train even further, but as you see, this is a bit of a mess here, so I just didn't. But in the future, for sure, we will have as little belt as possible, close to obviously the train depots. Okay, still not there. Oh, here it is. Finally coming. Finally coming. And though where there's a truck here, you can do it. You're gonna arrive before it's full. But yeah, hopefully with this, it's gonna get very full. Okay, perfect. So now we're going to take this out and all of you guys out. Shame. There's gonna be a bed of iron. And we continue to sand, by the way, those guys all the time. So that's a bit of a challenge, but it's life. It's life. So you're going to also be emptied. Or what I can do actually is maybe I can just do this. That way they should be able to deliver it back there. Like, look at this guy. Oh no, because this is full. Maybe here. Yeah. Deliver it there. Perfect. Okay, so yeah, we're gonna see, you know, if one train is enough or if I need more, and that should definitely help a lot. I'm not gonna start the copper one right away because first I want to empty this mine. We're getting there. If you look over here, there is still a bit on this side, just a bit there, but soon it's gonna be empty and then we can fill it back up. Speaking of which, I have also started to fill back this one. There is still some limestone at the bottom, but honestly, I have so much limestone at this point, and then we're gonna move into contracts and things like this, that I was like, no, it's fine. Let's stop digging. I'm just digging a bit more, and then we're going to fill it completely, I think. so that we have the space in particular here to make a nicer station, potentially to extend a bit more farms on this side, but I think it will be probably more on that side. If you look on here, I have started also to do a lot more terraforming. This is getting flat everywhere. We are getting more and more bauxite, of course. Is there a problem here? Oh yes, I hate when those things happen, when you're basically digging the things they're dropping. This is really annoying when that happens. It's all my fault, it's not the fault of the game, but still, I hate it. Okay, we do have some reserves, a bit more, so that's fine. Good, good. We're still good on the medical, as you can see, no problem there. We have also all of those productions working. But yeah, let's talk now about the electronics tier 4. So as I said, it's going to take some electronics tier 3, which is why it's next here to my maintenance tier 3, because that's gonna be, it's basically gonna be maintenance, but in space, right? We're gonna do maintenance in space with this. So I've put it over here. Then it requires lenses and diamonds. And then how are we going to make lenses? Well, the good thing, by the way, is that those lenses are only used for one thing, and there's only one way to make them. So that is, again, why I've put it next to it, because there's no need to send it somewhere else for something else. And this is going to take sapphire wafer, some diamond paste, and some ethanol. The sapphire wafer is, again, something, you know, there's only one way to make it and only one usage. So it shouldn't be too hard. And we actually don't need that much, right? You can see this is only 2 for each. So we should have those 3 there. I'm going to put, you know, an intermediate storage as always, but it shouldn't be too bad. Then we're going to need also diamond paste, which I think is here. There is actually 2 recipes for it, but again, only 1 usage. So in my opinion, again, this is something you just put next door because you know, there's nothing else to use it for. And this is again one of these. Okay, so that's gonna deliver there. Then we're gonna need also some ethanol. There's quite a few ways to make ethanol, so I haven't decided yet how we're gonna make it for this production, but it's there. And then, you know, if we go back here, we see that we're gonna need some diamonds for this production, right? And we also need diamonds here. We do need diamond for 2 other productions in the future, so we're gonna need to be smart, I guess. You know, we're gonna put diamond a bit more like that. This is going to be diamond. Oops, wrong button. Diamond. So that it can be delivered, you know, to the different places, but also used in the future for some other elements. So that's why I'm putting it here on this side. Okay. And yeah, those diamonds, how do we make them? Well, we make them with salt and graphite. So we're gonna definitely need to continue increasing our graphite production. And this is another reason why I really don't think you should have that many arc furnaces, especially for copper and steel, right? There's no reason, as I said in previous episode, like it's not a better quality. It does help create, you know, a bit of steam, but it's gonna use graphite, and it's also going to produce less exhaust, which means you're going to create less graphite, because the main way to create graphite is by turning your exhaust into CO2 and then your CO2 into graphite. I mean, this is basically, right, the way. Nobody is using that over here. I mean, I guess we may have to at some point, but the more you can just use this recipe, I think the better for everybody. So yes, don't use arc furnaces level 2 or level 1 if you can't help it. Some production you have to, because you can't use blast furnace, but if you can, don't use them. Okay, let me connect all of this and I'll see you in a minute. Now, as often, more than 1 minute has passed. You can see this is full, and actually even there, it's full of electronics level 4, full of diamonds. So this is what I said, right? It's just all connected now. We can see that we start over here with some salt and graphite. It's not automated. You can see the salt is coming from here. Graphite is coming from there. It's all connected and built, and we create those diamonds. They go over here, and then they come out there, and they're going to be used into this production over here with a bit of cooking oil. There is the other recipe over here of the heavy oil. So if you make it very close to your diesel production, that can be good. But I felt this one was better with some cooking oil, which for now, you know, again, this is not perfect, it's not end game, but we have the production, it's starting. The cooking oil is actually made just behind there. You can see we have the canola transform here into cooking oil, right? And next to it, we have the corn to make some ethanol. Because yeah, the second thing we're gonna need is some ethanol into the next production. No, first we have over here the sapphire wafer using a bit of alumina. So we are already making alumina, right, with this production here, and we're just making a bit more, using it there. We take those sapphire wafer and those diamond paste plus this ethanol to make the lenses, and then the lenses, you know, they go over here, and then they will go into this production here, taking the electronics level 3 from just above, the lenses, and some diamonds, right? So some more diamonds that are coming over here, this belt there. So yeah, with that, we're making both diamonds and electronics tier 4. Now, I know I said we're gonna use the electronics tier 4 to go into our space station. Unfortunately, our space station has died. 1 second of silence for the 4, you know, astronauts that were on the crew when the station fell to its death on Earth. Now, to be honest, it's not because I did a mistake or anything. I did it on purpose. I stopped sending them up. It was costing a lot of resources, quite a few different resources, but in particular bauxite for really a small gain. This boost in research and this 0.15 unity was not enough to make it worth it until we're ready for the next stage, which is to really get at this production here, space research point. But the space research points requires that we also do those 2 here of the composite core and the station part, and frankly I was just not ready for it. This will be really critical for us to get to the fast breeder reactor, but I was not ready for it. First I needed to stabilize a bit more, you know, the city. The production over here that we did at the beginning of the episode, they're working well. We're delivering a lot of resources there, that's not a problem. Similarly, you know, the food here, it's been working really well. I did have to add another train on some of those lines because I've kept increasing my population. We're almost at 10,000 now. But again, this was working fine. It wasn't the problem. The main problem was, I mean, 2 things, but the main one was that here, this was getting a bit to the max, you know, we were getting, in particular on the maintenance there, we were getting to the max where 4 of these was not enough, 2 of these was not enough. Even with a bit of unity, it just wasn't enough. So this is a good thing that we've built this whole thing there, which is a lot bigger production, right? And where we can have a lot more maintenance. For example, here is, you know, the maintenance level 1, there is, I don't know, 10 depots or something. Same for level 2, level 3. So we have a lot more there. So I've started to basically pause some of the productions here and move them to this new belt. We haven't completely moved everything else, and also because, you know, it's always good to keep things paused rather than destroy them when you are not too sure yet if this is working well or if you may need it in the future. I haven't deleted anything. But as you can see, we have paused. We have paused the maintenance over here. We have also paused the production of household goods and appliances, which was one of my other problems. This was getting, you know, a bit to the maximum. I've had to upgrade some of them, you know, to level 4. Then you can upgrade them again to level 5, but then you're gonna have problem with the belts too, etc. So it was getting a bit problematic. But don't worry, we're just extending the train. We have now a new train over here that is taking or delivering those household goods and those household appliances into those 2 new buildings here, right? The 2 modules. So we're still providing, you know, the unity over here. Don't worry, this is still happening, but with the train. And so we can also, by the way, now delete these ones. I had kept them just to show them to you. These used to be the old one. Now we have the new ones with trains. And where is this coming from? Well, we can follow it and we'll see a new station over here. It's very close to the station where we had our hydrogen, which I have, by the way, expanded. You can see now there's one line for the copper, one line for the iron, and one line for what I just mentioned over here. Those trains, right, with the household goods and appliances. The reason I've made multiple lines is that I'm making those trains wait here until they're needed, right? I don't want them to be clogging up the main area here, or worse, the area there. So we're keeping them over here for now. And basically when, you know, something's empty, it goes. Same over here for the iron. When something is empty, it will go, and same here. So it's coming from this you know, station there. We have good reserves of household. I see I forgot to put, tell me when it's empty, please, because that would be a problem. So yeah, we have huge deposit, huge storage there with those production over here. Why did I put them there? Well, this one, it is taking some glass and steel plus a bit of wood. We have the glass and the steel here. This is really at the, oh, actually, sorry, my bad. I just realized that I've never really showed you all of this. So let's start a bit more over here. And this is not finished, but this is pretty end game, where I'm gonna have each of the big production in, you know, one of these lines. So starting actually at the end, we have over here the steel. We're taking the iron ore crushed with some limestone and coal, and we're making the molten iron, slag and exhaust. Then we are transforming it into some oxygen, with oxygen into molten steel, and then we're cooling it to make steel. Right? So this is huge, right? We're talking about a lot of them. Many of them are paused right now, but this is a huge production at the end that we can do to make basically 450. Like this is when the whole thing is working, this is gonna make 450 around so, which is, you know, one belt like this, right? Then we have the same for iron. Actually, for iron, we are gonna make, when the whole thing is working, 2 full belts of, sorry, not iron, copper. So we're gonna make 2 full belts of copper over here. This is again the normal production, right? We take the copper ore crush, a bit of sand, some coal, and we make the molten copper with slag and exhaust. Then we are cooling it into this metal caster for impure copper, and then we are, you know, electrolysing it to make with acid, because it's better, the copper. And then, as I said, it comes over here into this belt, to this line, and gets delivered into these. Then we have the glass, you know, glass production using the glass mix and a bit of coal to make the molten glass, a bit more of slag and exhaust, and then we put it into those mixer level 2. That's very important. They're way better to make a lot of glass. Here again, I think this is 450, like 1 full belt. We do need the glass mix, right? So this is what's happening over here. I know I've left a bit of space. We could make slightly more compact, but it's looking fine like this, in my opinion. So making this glass mix with those different recipes. Why are we low on... oh, there is a problem here. What did I do? Oh, yeah, okay. Forgot to reconnect something there. Which is why it's good to also check from time to time, you know, your productions. So let's get this out. And let's reconnect level 2, please. Up. Let's make it a bit clean. Let's see. It can go level 2 there, level 3, and then go up and connect there, please. Okay. So yes, if you haven't realized, this is my bus of input resources. We're gonna have, you know, things like the sand, the salt, all of those things on this belt, the coal, right? And this all comes from the start at this point, right? We have a lot of coal here, we have a lot of limestone. The more advanced resource like the copper and the iron are actually coming directly from some boats now, or at least from, you know, what could be boats in the future. Like there's no boats here, but it's ready for a boat. So that will go, you know, here and then go directly into the production. So yeah, that was the the glass. Next we have 2 full belts for the poly. We're gonna need a lot of silicon. I haven't built all of them as you can see, but yeah, it's a huge production end game if we have all of them working. This one will take more sand, again coal, graphite, water, create a few other things. Then we move into a couple of different things. We're gonna have over here productions for the byproducts. We're creating a lot of CO2, right? Because we're creating a lot of exhaust. This is all, all of these, they always have exhaust. So there is always a belt or a pipe like this that goes there, these there. So you need multiple, right? Even a 900 is not enough. You need multiple 900 of these pipe. They all go there, as you can see. It's a bit of a spaghetti there, I apologize, but it's because I'm trying to make it compact. So we have multiple of these exhaust scrubber, right, transforming with a bit of limestone and water into mainly CO2, with also a bit of sulfur and exhaust. There is a bit of waste there because right now I'm just sending the exhaust into the atmosphere, not the exhaust, the steam law. In the future we can use it, transform into something else. But the main thing is, as I just said, it's creating a lot of CO2. So we can send this CO2 into all of those chemical plants. I should probably put them as no. I don't like when it's on yellow. There it is. So we're taking this carbon dioxide and making a lot of graphite. So that's what's happening over here. And the graphite can be used for this production over here, but also in the future, many other productions. We have also on this side a bit of hydrogen and oxygen, because we need this hydrogen over here that's produced there for this production there, right, of the silicon reactors. We have then at the bottom the gold production. This is only one belt, it's not even a 450, because that would be crazy to create 450 of gold. But yeah, we're creating some gold, right? This is the last step. And I'm not going too much into detail because I've already done all of those production in past episodes, but it's just to show you the new kind of production place. Where here, this is the stage before with the gold ore powder, which comes from here, right, which comes from there. So all of this is pretty well connected. We, as I said, haven't connected some of the input yet, but we did start for some of them. Like here, you can see this is the sand one. So just taking a lot of these quartz and transforming it into first quartz crushed and then into sand. Over here, this is for the toxic slurry that we're producing into that production, right? So we're just cleaning it. This will be in the future my copper production, right, with a contract. And actually there, you can see there is already one contract. It's not the... Oh, but why is this so low? What's happening? Why is this empty? Oh yeah, okay, I forgot. I haven't connected this yet. So in the future, of course, this will be connected directly to our productions over here. But for now, that one is not connected yet. So definitely should connect it. Otherwise, we're gonna have a problem. But yeah, this is... We'll talk about contract, I think, in the next episode. But we have a first contract there. We have a second contract over here. This one I know is working well. Yeah, you can see this is full. This is fully connected to the production. And yeah, it's basically sending those vehicle parts to get some crude oil. And then we're transforming the crude oil into an even bigger production, right? This used to be our old crude oil distillery, if you wish. Now you can see I haven't deleted it yet because I had reserves of crude oil. So first I'm emptying it, before we probably destroy this whole thing. I don't think we're gonna keep it paused because I need to finish cleaning this up. I don't like the fact that it is not a line over here. So we're gonna probably delete it all, start filling it back in. I am also filling it a bit more there. It used to be basically there. It used to stop here. It used to stop there. Now I'm just filling it a bit more. To have a bit more space here for another big production, which I want next to that one. But yeah, this is pretty much another big, huge one that is similar to what we had before. You know, you have stage 1 and stage 2 and stage 3, and you create things like sour water. So you need to transform the sour water into ammonia and sulfur. You need to do something with that, right? So the ammonia, we're gonna transform it into hydrogen, and we're gonna use this hydrogen to crack the heavy oil that we're creating also into this first step. Then in the second step, we're gonna create some diesel, so that's great, we need diesel. And then in the third step, we're gonna create naphtha and fuel gas. This naphtha we're gonna use over here to make, with the sulfur that we created over here, we're gonna make some rubber. And then here we're also going to use this naphtha with a bit of chlorine. Chlorine is coming from over here, from the brine production. Right? We have a big brine production that was over here, so I'm just piping it. So we have the brine and the chlorine to make plastic, so that's fine. That's those two output there. We're also making with that sulfur and water a bit more acid. So this is the acid production here, and this is one that's already belted. I know those belts are super ugly. We will fix that in the future, but this way I have acid production that's automated for this. So yeah, we're gonna delete these ones. You can see 2 are already empty. The other one should be empty soon. But with this, we have a way bigger, because instead of 8 lines of distillation, which is already a lot, we have now 16. So there's a lot we can do here. We have also, of course, when this is full, you need to take care of your naphtha. So we have those cracking units here to transform into more fuel gas and hydrogen. And then the hydrogen, I think there's a problem with my hydrogen. Why is this full? That's not normal. So let's see. It goes here, yes. Goes there, yeah. Then here, it's fine. This is still the same production. Then it goes here. There's a pipe balancer to say first use the hydrogen if you can, but if you can't, you go there, okay. And why is that not working? Oh, this cannot take hydrogen. Sorry, I thought you could take hydrogen in this. Oh, my bad. So I'm guessing it's in the flare. Oh yeah, you can take it in the flare. Now, to be clear, I'm not gonna flare a lot of hydrogen. We're gonna need a lot of hydrogen in the future for our trains, even for boats. We can give it back to the boat, right? We can do a lot of things with hydrogen, but for now, we do need to make sure that it is not stopping the production. That would be a problem. Of course, I have warnings, right? When this thing would be full, I would have gotten a warning, and so I would have known that I need to fix it. But while we're here, let's just fix it quickly. Pipe level 3. Making it quick and dirty. That should burn quite a lot. Yeah, 48 times 4. So we are taking care of our hydrogen, and then there's also a lot of fuel gas, which we're using, of course, for statue of maintenance. We have 4 of them, so that's 7.5. That's pretty good. But more importantly, again, there is a lot of things I want to do with fuel, in particular for this production here. That's a whole new thing I've been working on. As you can see, nothing is built, but hopefully you can see what this is for. So yeah, we are gonna need to build this one soon. But first, let's go back quickly there. So as I said, we're producing all of those basic things like steel, copper, glass, poly, and gold. Then I have added also a couple of other things like the rubber and the plastic, which again we're making here. So I'm gonna build them, or maybe take a train, we'll see, to bring them here. I've also put the wood. So that is why we're doing this household good production here. All of the inputs are already there. We then bring it here. For the appliances, it's actually most of the inputs were here, because it's electronics level 1 and level 2, which are the next line here, right? You can see electronics, electronics, electronics. It just requires also some steel, but it so happens that we're already bringing steel anyway there. So that's fine. I just brought the steel, continued there. And then, yeah, as I said, we have electronics level 1 and 2, that comes from here, because this is where we're producing them. You can see the first line is producing the mechanical parts. Then we have the electronics level 2, electronics level 3, and this is my microchips production, which is full. Love it. So we have the microchip production. Again, all of these are not new, so I'm not going to go into too much detail, but I will provide, of course, blueprint for all of these on my Discord community. This is not like perfectly clean here. We can clean it later on. So yes, we have the household appliances going there, the train, right, that comes from here and goes there, and here can be charged into, you know, hydrogen, and then goes all the way and delivers. We have here a pause because they're just waiting for that one to cross. So again, this is not a perfect train line. At the end, I'm sure we're gonna need to upgrade this, but for now it's working pretty well, including, if you look over here, I have simplified it a bit versus what we had before, right? Where now it goes over here and then goes straight. These ones goes here, goes straight. And we have, you know, double line up to the end here. So that production working really well. But as you can see here, this is basically empty. And that's probably one of the warning we have right now. Indeed it is. So this is empty. There is no more copper and iron into this whole mine there, which was the second reason why, you know, I paused my orbital expansion to focus a bit more on this over here, and in particular to focus on starting contracts. So we have, as I said, the contract over here for the crude oil. We're gonna start a contract there for my iron, right? It should actually go, well, there's a problem here. Why is this one not working? Look at this. This is full but not moving. What is happening? It was in the wrong way. Okay. So that's why it was empty. But anyway, so yes, we're gonna have this first one, then we're gonna need another one for the copper. I mean, we're gonna need one for every single resource in the game, and that's the goal. That's not my only goal, by the way, in this series. We're gonna go even further than this. But I think this is a good end for this episode. We've done a lot, ladies and gents. We have now the production of electronics tier 4 and diamond that has been finalized. We have more train than before. We have way bigger production than before. If you look at these, and each of them is making 64. I have tons. I mean, it's way too many. We should probably pause some. And same over here, this is way too many because each of them is making 48. But we're ready for the future. You know, I hope you can see we're gonna go very far in terms of production and population in this Let's Play. I am looking forward to it. But yeah, in the next episode, we're gonna talk a lot more about contracts, and we will probably also build this gigantic thing there. Don't hesitate to tell me in the comment below if you know what that is. Thank you for watching, smash like button, and I hope to see you next time.